Welcome everybody to the next video of Dead by Daylight. As usual, we are playing the Score Merchant, the best killer in the game, and no one else matters because the Score Merchant is the best. I'm going to start by putting this drone here, that way I can protect that generator and that totem. And like I told you at the beginning of the game, we want to ignore all survivors. Well, at the beginning of the game, like I told you in the last video, we want to ignore all survivors and just put our drone in our right places. Luckily, we can get hit right here because of the fact that there's two survivors here. And in case you don't know, when there's a loop or window, but there's more than one survivor, that loop/window is much worse. Because it's two people trying to do one thing at the same time and it occupies too much space. But now that we set up our drone, we notice that someone is at this totem. And of course, I have to go and try and defend it, even though we kind of want them to destroy our totems because it could be hex on the ground. But at the exact same time, it could be Devour Hope. And we have Devour Hope taken away. That's really bad. But I'm just chasing this person because of the fact that there's a pallet on. And I'm going to reroute the drone. I'm going to chase them because that's the point. Just reset the drone. That way I can make sure that everything is good. And the only reason why I decided to go down here is normally I would never chase, like I said. But Hex Hunter Ground activates right there. And I'm like, yep, it's time to go attack. Break this wall. And now I'm going to try and find this person. But it's kind of hard because even though the game is one of, if not the best map for Score Merchant, because like I told you in the last video, killing. Like I told you in the last video, drones have no height limit, and because they have no height limit, you can put the drone at the bottom and it will affect the top, or you can put the drone at the top and it will affect the bottom. So I like to place the drones in the opposite of where the generator or the totem is. So if the generator is at the bottom, I will put the drone at the top. Now, most of the time, I'll put the drone at the top anyway, because I prefer to be at the top of the game instead of being at the bottom. But as you know, this build is extremely late game dependent. That got exposed, and not only the exposed, also hit with the Oblivious Has effect. So I do want to try and down him if I can, but most likely I won't be able to because Score Merchant and Chase is not the best killer, but we will try our best, like usual. But while I'm talking about the Score Merchant, I want to say that it doesn't really matter always if you want to lose chases with her, because like I said, you're trying to, this is the end game, you want to get to the end. You're not trying to, you're trying to of course win as fast as possible, down as many people as you can as time progresses. But it's really at the end of the game the build shines and it makes it impossible for survivors to do anything. One generator's already been completed, but I'm not really worried because of the fact that I know that if I can get a good 3-gen, then everything is good. I definitely kind of wasted some time here by chasing this person. I don't know why I did this. The only real benefit of me chasing him is the fact that he gets to drop a bunch of pallets that are really annoying. And the game has some really good pallets, but it should have really good pallets because the game itself is a really killer-sided map. There is not much the survivors can do in certain situations because the map is just so killer dependent. Now right here I know that I'm going to easily down him because this pallet is so unsafe. The chance of him being able to do anything is extremely low. So we're going to fix that and attack. And this will be the second hook actually. And then someone tries to flashlight save and luckily we kill because I was not mentally prepared for that. 2 gens done. But we do have Hex Plaything activated now, and once they decide to cleanse Hex Plaything, we can use those totems to make more Hex Pendimentos. And then we also just activated Hex Pendimento. Normally I wouldn't activate this early because I know that the survivors are going to easily destroy it because they know that it is up. But I decided to activate it because I realized that I want to slow down the gens while I'm chasing certain people. I didn't even put a drone near the totem either, so I definitely was a mistake, but at the same time, I know more of the totems will be destroyed eventually, so I'm not really worried. This person is exposed and oblivious, they don't know I'm here. So it's a free down. And again, like I said in the last video, this is why I love the green add-ons. It's just exhausted and exposed. It's the best combination ever. Exhausted, exposed, and oblivious. It's just, you really can't ask for more. But then I see someone at this totem, so I'm going to destroy this wall. And place a totem over here, not totem, a drone, just in case they have to come back over here. That drone placement isn't really honestly necessary because the chance of him actually coming back there and is kind of low, especially since they see a drone. They're not gonna want to go there in the first place, but it's fine. And I get hit in the face with pallet, but it doesn't matter because they're gonna misplay here. For some reason why I go through this open door and we get a free down. And this is the second pallet for them been hooked, and now they're cleansing. I believe that's a hex plaything totem, which is fairly fine because now we can activate hex Pendamento. And once you have one stack of Pendamento, they automatically get 30% reduced generator speed or generator repair, which is insanely strong. If you can get two, they get 30% generator speed and 30% healing reduction. If you get three, they get all those things, plus they recover from the ground 30% slower. If you get four, they get all those things, and they open the exit gates 30% slower. If you get five, they can't do any totems, and you basically, it's game over. If you can get five stacks of Pendamento, you literally won. There's number left, especially with the Skull Merchant, because you can just put drones on every single totem, well, every single generator, and you can just track everything. And like I usually do, if I'm in a really bad loop or a really bad situation where I do not want to chase somebody, I will just ignore them. There's no point in trying to stay. It's just a waste of time. We can let them do gens all we want because this map, we're going to have a really good 3-gen at the end, so we're not really worried. But luckily, they don't know we have. There are hope, so that's a free down. And I believe this person's actually dead, if I remember correctly. They've been hooked twice already. Let's see. Oh, never mind. They had one more chance. But it doesn't really matter because this person's trying to get this totem, but it doesn't matter because they got the wrong totem. It's not the Rare of Hope. It's a hex plate thing totem. So we're gonna make this guy drop the pallet. He's gonna fall down, and that's a free down because there's nowhere he can go. But he is so lucky. Right at the last second, they got out of Rare of Hope. Which, again, is really bad, but it doesn't really matter because I miss here because I'm terrible. But he is equally bad and goes inside of the locker and he gets hooked. I think everyone's been hooked twice besides one of the Claudettes. One of the Claudettes hasn't been hooked, I think, at all. So we normally want to try and get someone out the game as fast as possible. So I'm not trying to tunnel. I normally don't tunnel with this killer. The only time I really tunnel is if, like, I'm so far behind. Like, yes, my build is late game, but, like, they're doing the generators faster than I predicted, so I might have to actually get someone out the game fast, just so I can have a 1v3. But in this situation, we're doing pretty well. Like, we got half of the hooks in the game already, and we have so many Pendamento stacks, but I have another one. I put a drone here to protect this totem because I want to make sure they don't get all three of my Pendamentos, but the chance of them getting all three is actually a lot higher than you would think, because as long as they remember where they cleanse the totem, they know I have Pendamento and they'll cleanse that totem as well. This person, I was like, I'll chase you because I see your blood, and I already checked all the generators. There's no one on generators, so I'm going to chase this person. They're trying to stun me with the pallet, but I'm not going to let them do that. This will be a quick chase, but the problem with this map is that, like I said, there's really good everywhere. But it doesn't really matter that much because eventually you're going to find them and we're going to down everybody. And we already got a speed buff because of the fact that someone decided to, someone has the claw trap on them and they never got rid of the claw trap. So because the claw trap is still on them, we get a speed buff. Only 2%, but that 2% really does matter. But then there's another person inside of a drone terror radius for some reason. So we got another speed buff. But now we gotta replace our drones everywhere, because once someone has a claw trap on them, you can't place a drone. You have 4 drones, but for each person with a claw trap is one less drone you can carry. There's 3 people together. I thought about running there's a perk by Pyramid Head. I can't remember the name of it, but I want to say it's like if a survivor heals another survivor, they become oblivious, until of course they if they're not near the person. So I decided to go on this generator because someone is exposed and oblivious. So I'm gonna attack them. But I noticed that it's definitely Felix, and I'm not going to try and down somebody who's already injured when I can just down somebody who literally is exposed. So he's gonna try and go over the pallet quietly, that way I won't hear him, but he put himself in a really bad situation. I know this girl has a flashlight, so I'm going to try and bait her, but she's not going to try and come over here because she knows she'll just get down. And we hook Felix, and Felix will be out the game because his last hook. Now we have a 1v3 situation instead of 1v4, and basically we're going to win. So even though they have to complete 2 more gens, 3 of these 4 gens are really close to each other, and the other one is kind of far away. Knowing that I'm going to purposely not trap. I'm going to put a trap here, of course, so I can make sure that if someone's on there, they know they're on there. I know they're on there. But I'm going to purposely not go near that gen to make them go and do it. Forcing them to basically commit to this really annoying 3 gen. That's why I got rid of that drone. And I'm going to reset my traps in certain locations. That way, all the generators are covered. And like I said before, drones don't have height limit, so because of that reason, we can put the drone on the top floor. And now that on the top floor, all the drones are basically showing the bottom as well. And they're gonna get rid of a bunch of pentimento totems. And it doesn't really matter, as long as we can have one, the one that gives us 30% repair. 30% repair speed debuff. It doesn't really matter what they get rid of. And for some reason, she didn't drop this pallet. And I thought she had dead hard, so I waited, of course, but she just didn't drop the pallet. I think she thought I was going to swing, and she had enough time to run away. But instead of dropping the pallet, she decided to risk her life, and now her life is gone. And now we have a 2v1, well, 1v2, basically, and we are gonna easily win because someone's down here injured, so we can definitely hear them, and we can track the other person on our radar, which I love. And sadly, they're not exposed because we already they cleansed our Hour of Hope, but it doesn't really matter because they have their cloud trap on them, so we get a speed buff when we are chasing them. And I'm surprised he didn't drop the pallet either. I don't know what's wrong with these drivers in this game. They decided they didn't want to drop the pallets, even though the game has some of the best pallets ever. So I don't know why you wouldn't drop them, but it doesn't really matter to me. We want to win, or have fun trying to win. Either way works for me. So this Claudette has not been hooked once. That's the Claudette that hasn't been hooked. But it doesn't really matter because now at the end of the game we can just cheat and camp if we really want to. I choose not to do it. Instead, I'm going to try and patrol these generators. But what I mean by cheat and camp is we can put a drone down in a certain location. If the drone is put down, we can go inside of the drone radius, become undetectable, and just sit, basically. And just wait for a survivor to come. And then once the survivor unhooks the person, we'll know that, oh, they unhooked the person. I'll just hook. But this survivor decided to kill himself because she realized the game is over, which it is. There is no way she can win. And now I have to find the hack before anyone else does. And luckily for me, it spawns right next to me. Now we can do my favorite part of playing the Skull Merchant, which is to put drones at the end gates. And that way the last survivor cannot open the exit gate. But you'll know what I mean when I post my next video. I did that before. It was so funny, and by funny I mean terrible for the survivors. But luckily we found the last person really easily and hooked them. But you can put drones near the exit gates, and as long as you put one near one and one drone near the other one, then the survivors will not be able to open the exit gates without you being notified. And it makes it really easy to down the last survivor. And like usual, we always kill all 4 people because this killer, I am the best of her, and this killer is the best. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video with anyone you know on any social media platform. I will continue to make even more Dead by Daylight content, and with the Skull Merchant because she is my favorite killer, and no one else compares. And like I said, if you're gonna play her, use these green add-ons, use this build. This build is so good, and I recommend it to anybody who wants to get better with her. Also, leave me any tips if you have any suggestions of what I should build, maybe a different build. Please help me, because I do want to get better with the clip. I feel like she has so much potential as I'm making these videos. See you in the next video.